Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into a comparison of three really popular Linux desktop systems.
Right, Linux Mint, Pop! OS, and the big one they're based on, Ubuntu.
Exactly. And the goal here for you listening is to figure out which one fits your needs best. Are you looking for something familiar and stable?
Or maybe more cutting-edge, performance-focused.
Or perhaps the reliability that comes with, huge community and enterprise support?
It's important to remember, though, they all share that same core DNA.
Yeah, the Debian and Ubuntu root.
And they all use APT, the advanced package tool, for a lot of their software management.
But the philosophies are where they really split off.
Yeah.
It creates this interesting trade-off, right? Stability through being careful versus maybe stability through moving fast.
That's a good way to put it. Let's start with the careful approach, Linux Mint.
Often called the go-to for Windows switchers. It aims to be, well, comfortable and easy.
Yeah, the sources often mention that very low learning curve. It's designed to be elegant, familiar.
And a big part of that is the Cinnamon desktop environment.
Absolutely. It intentionally mimics that classic Windows Start menu layout. People feel at home quickly.
But it's not just the looks, is it? The stability is a deliberate strategy.
Totally deliberate. Mint is very selective. They only base their releases on Ubuntu's long-term support, the LTS versions.
So they wait. They let Ubuntu sort of iron out the initial kinks.
Exactly. They embrace that intentional delay. They don't want those potentially unstable early releases.
Which also connects to how they handle software packages, specifically Ubuntu's snaps.
Right. Mint actively avoids snaps. They don't like them much.
Why is that?
Well, they prioritize the speed of native APT packages and the isolation you get with Flatpaks. Snaps are universal, sure, but Mint seems to think they're slower, maybe bigger, and they prefer the traditional approach for reliability.
Okay, so Mint is the comfortable, stable, maybe conservative choice. What about Pop! OS? Feels like the opposite end sometimes.
It kind of is. Pop! OS comes from System 76, the hardware company, and it's really focused. Think developers, creators, AI and machine learning folks.
The power users, maybe.
Yeah, or people needing a really efficient workstation. The big thing they have is the Pop shell.
Ah, the tiling window manager.
Exactly. Automatic tiling right out of the box. It's part of GNO, or soon, their own Cosmic Desktop, but it really helps organize your screen, especially if you multitask a lot.
And it generally feels more modern,
Yeah.
polished.
I'd say so. Plus, little things like offering full disk encryption by default during setup, and a recovery partition, which is super handy if things go wrong.
Okay, let's talk hardware and performance then. This seems like Pop! OS's home turf.
It really is. Because System 76 makes hardware pop,
Ah.
OS is often better optimized, especially for tricky stuff like hybrid graphics.
Like laptops with both Intel and NVIDIA graphics.
Precisely. Getting NVIDIA drivers and things like CUDA or TensorFlow for AI work is generally much simpler on Pop! OS. It's more convenient, maybe not always faster in raw speed, but tailored.
Easier for gaming too, I hear.
Often, yeah. Less fiddling required.
Now, Ubuntu is the foundation for both Mint and Pop! OS, mostly. Massive support. LTS releases with 5 years. Sounds ideal.
It can be. Ubuntu has that huge community and enterprise backing, but there's a catch, especially with brand new LTS releases.
Like the recent 24.04 people talk about.
Exactly. Feedback often points to instability, driver problems, even installation issues right after a major LTS launch.
So the advice is usually wait.
Yeah, experienced users often wait for the first point release, like 24.04.1, for the bug fixes before jumping in.
Okay, but wait. If Pop! OS is based on Ubuntu, how does it avoid that early instability?
Yeah.
How does it manage to feel, quicker with fixes?
Ah, that's key. Pop! OS does something clever. They use a kind of rolling release cycle just for quality of life updates and fixes on top of the Ubuntu base.
So they patch things faster.
Much faster than waiting for Ubuntu's official point releases. They can address issues in the underlying Ubuntu base more quickly. So, weirdly, Pop! OS can feel more stable sooner after a new Ubuntu LTS comes out.
Right. Stability through velocity, like you said.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's wrap this up for you. Your choice seems to be Linux Mint for that familiar Windows-like comfort and proven conservative stability.
Or Pop! OS for the cutting-edge hardware support, the developer focus, and that faster cycle for fixes and improvements.
Or you stick with Ubuntu itself for the massive ecosystem, the long-term support, but maybe with a strategy of waiting a bit after major releases.
And that leaves us with a final thought. Think about Linux Mint again. They deliberately slow down. They wait for Ubuntu LTS releases to mature. They reject things like snaps early on.
Is that intentional delay, that conservatism,
hmm
is that actually the smartest way to get reliability in the Linux world that moves so fast?
It's definitely something to consider. Is avoiding the bleeding edge the key to avoiding headaches for your daily use? That's the question as you pick your platform.